Right, so hello, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Hi, Bizard, Enrico, and Margarita. I just want to say thank you so much for hearing me out. I thought it would be easiest if I did this in a video format. That way you can look at it at your leisure. I'm going to jump straight into it, but first, just to let you know, I am going to do my best to keep this brief, which means I might be leaving out some critical things where you have questions or I might leave you a little confused. So if I do, please feel free to ask me anything that you are unclear on. Also, I am going to be giving you my recommendations, what I think is best for you. However, if you disagree, ultimately it's your company, you must do what's best for you. I am also open to different suggestions or different ways of doing things. So please don't think that this is, in my view, the only way to do things, but it is what I believe to be best. Right, so jumping straight into it, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. So for starters, to dominate online, there are three components to it. The first component is off-page SEO, then we have on-page SEO and social media. Now, what are these? On-page SEO is essentially focusing on what actually happens on your site. Your site needs to be properly optimized so that Google can read it. As it is, when I look through my various tools that I use, checking rankings, checking how Google reads it, checking your backlinks and so on, you aren't ranking at all. Google doesn't know you exist, and we need to change that. And there's a lot of things that go into making that happen. The very first thing I want to point out is if we look over here, if I go to your site, excuse me there, right, if I look at your site, oh, by the way, I love that. Very first thing, did you see I automatically clicked there? I did it without even thinking about it. Basic things, I know you said that this was set up in a hurry, so there is a lot that needs working on. If I click here, that should automatically take me back to the home site. Also, another small error, but what is considerate is a lot of people type in the names of websites without the www version. And if I type that in, it takes me to your Italian site, which it shouldn't. Both the www version and the non-www version should both bring me to this, and it's not. That is an issue. So those are just some very basic things that we need to fix. Also, one of my other, if I just give you a basic rundown, other things that need to be changed. Your meta description is too long. Your meta keywords there aren't enough of them. You don't have any H1, H2, H3 headings, which Google uses when indexing your site. This Google needs, this has to do with what appears when I'm busy looking at what's your description over here. Yours is too long. You don't have a proper image to text ratio, and there's quite a number of things that need to be fixed. The major thing, however, is it does not appear that your site is a WordPress site. Now, I mean, there's so many different ways about building a website. I'm completely aware of that. However, from an SEO perspective, Google likes WordPress sites. It likes Web 2.0 sites. It really likes WordPress sites. Why? Because WordPress, basically Google likes sites that are regularly updated. WordPress sites are very easy to update. I can show you how to update your site. I don't know if you set the site up yourself or if you had an external company who did it. But I'm assuming, let's say you do have an external company who did this. That means every time you want to make a change to the site, you have to contact them directly. Whereas if you have a WordPress site, it becomes very easy for you to update content yourselves, which going forward could be very useful to you. It makes it very easy to update, not that difficult to change. Another nice thing about WordPress sites are they are very, excuse me, let me put that on silent. They are very their coding, if you choose the correct template, the correct theme, the coding can be very clean, which again makes it easier for Google to index you, which you want, because then it improves your rankings. Now, the theme that I generally tend to use is highly customizable, I'd probably be able to make your site look very similar to this. So you don't have to worry about losing your current design. I think it could be slightly better designed. This looks a bit messy. But I'm not going to go too deep into that. I suppose we could talk, if you're interested, we can talk about that at length later. So, in a nutshell, my recommendation is you change your site so that it's a WordPress site. I can do that for you. In fact, I prefer doing that for you because there's a whole lot of optimization that needs to take place, which you don't have at all. Need to look at your website structure so that everything flows better, it connects better. You want, basically, it's not just about what a human sees when they look at your site. It's what Google sees, and Google isn't a person. They've got a different way of processing things, and you want to make it as easy for Google as possible. And WordPress, well, as far as it goes, WordPress has it down. There are also so many amazing plugins, which I would then put in, obviously not overloaded, but there are some essential plugins which also boost your visibility to the search engines and their bots. It makes analytical tracking much easier. One of my, even if you choose to stay, we can work around that, but if you choose to keep this, either way, I would recommend, one of my recommendations is that you do get an Expo 2020 page. Expo 2020, as you said, is going to be huge. You're going to have potential clients from all over the globe looking towards having promotion companies, an event management company here that can sort out their events. And so I would recommend having an actual page set aside for Expo 2020, but I'll look at that in a moment further when we go into the off page. Okay, so some of the things is your site plan and structure needs to be optimized. We need to fix your on-page SEO issues, as I've mentioned before. Just a quick general note on your website. When I first looked at your site, I didn't actually know what you did. And so I did what everybody does when they're trying to find out about the site. I went to your About Us page, and this looks beautiful. This is wonderfully philosophical. It's really nice. But I had to read through all of this and get to here before I actually realized what you did. And most people won't really go to that level of hassle. You want to catch people immediately. So that's an issue. All right. It would be nice if you don't just have news. I mean, this is old news. That's already, 4 months old. You need to have current news on your site, showcasing what new events you have. So if anybody, for instance, if they're looking up something that you're currently organizing, it would be nice if you're ranking for whatever your current events are. So if anyone looks them up, bam, they can find new information on your site about what's going on. Okay, then we go on to off page. Now off page, essentially the first thing I need to do is measure keyword research. Now I've included a file called keyword research on the Flash with some ideas that I thought would be viable, but I'd love to have more feedback from you, a better insight into what you do. Also, by looking at your major competitors, here are just some that come up. By looking at what they do, these are also very valuable keyword terms if you have overlaps. And if you've got overlaps, obviously, then I look into what they are ranking for and then see if we can maybe overtake them on Google, which is quite nice. Stealing their potential customers, clients. Right, moving on. So I go do in-depth keyword research. Then we identify the main keywords. For instance, one that definitely stands out to me, that I definitely think would be very important, would be event management companies in Dubai. Now, this specific keyword phrase, if I type that in, just for if I target it for the UAE specifically, I'm not talking about international searches, specifically to the UAE, that gets 1,000 searches a month, which makes that a very valuable keyword term. Internationally, Google estimates it at 1,600. Please note, these search volumes are not set in stone. Often they are much higher than Google estimates them to be. Often Google will say that this particular search term isn't getting any searches when I know for a fact it's getting a considerable volume, search volume. So there is, it's not, these are not exact numbers, but they are a good indication of what is valuable. Now, if I was to search for event management companies in Dubai, these are all alternate keyword phrases, things that if other people were to type these things in and you're ranking for this, chances are, if you're ranking for this and they type this in, you're going to come up. Whereas this is events management, it's very close. It's almost the same thing. So chances are if you're ranking for this and someone types this in, you're still going to come up. So all of these basically get grouped together. Okay, this is slightly a different thing, but it's still pretty close. Okay, so there we're looking at your main keywords. Now, ideally what I do is I select 2 to 4 primary keywords, which we then go after and we rank. And we're trying to get you, like I showed you, we want to try and blanket Google, but at least get you in first, second, or third place on Google. Then we start focusing on minor keywords. There are so many potential keywords because you're not just doing eventing. You're looking at the sports management. You're looking at arts and art galleries and art promotions. You're looking at, so that we said event management. You said product lounges for Alpha and Omega, product lounges for airports. I'm not even particularly sure what that is. But that, for instance, if I was to go down over here, Google only says airport promotions are getting 10 searches a month. But if I type in airport promotions and airport promotions in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, they don't get very many searches. If I show you over here, airport promotions company Dubai. These particular links have got nothing to do with companies doing airport promotions. So it would be, in theory, quite easy to rank over here. And if we blanket this page, then you've got 10 specific clients. At least, if airport promotions is being searched, these two are then being searched. Even if this is just being searched, you're going to come up. Then you've got specific targeted clients who there is nobody else coming up for what the person's searching. You're most likely going to get that client coming to your site, and they most probably are going to contact you because who else are they going to contact? Okay. How long have I been? Oh, I need to hurry up. Okay. Then we focus on the anchor text. Anchor text is simply if somebody types, if it's the words that another site uses when they're linking back to your site. So for instance, imagine I'm a news agency and I'm writing a story on companies who are covering Expo 2020. So I'll say Expo 2020 event managers. And I will then put a hyperlink from those words, Expo 2020 event managers or event organizers, to your site. That will then be the anchor text. Anchor text is very important, and that then ties in with your keywords. In the past, and still today, lots of SEO companies focus on blasting websites with hundreds, sometimes thousands of links from other sites and sending out thousands of links. But today, quantity is not so important as quality. And when I go over the pricing with you at the end of this presentation, I hope I can really bring it home to you that quality, the more access you give me to be able to provide quality links, the better your links are going to be, the better you're going to rank, the more consistently you're going to rank. Because quality is king now, it's not quantity. Google's becoming very smart and very selective. Right. Another nice thing about if we can change to WordPress is it makes getting site data much easier, much more efficient, which will then allow us to analyze where clients are landing, what they're looking at, where they're leaving your site, to help us also improve your on-site. Okay. Competitor breakdown analysis. That I've done a very basic one over here. Again, where I said where your competitors are, what are they ranking for, But in depth, I'm going to start seeing where they rank for specific major keywords that we want to compete with, and so on. And then I need, obviously, to give you regular feedback so that you know where you're standing. Okay. Then the third section, this third part of it, is social media. Now, social media, I'm just going to go here. Social media isn't just important because people think it's cool and it's the in thing. Social media is one way for a potential client who doesn't know you to be able to see whether or not you're successful. It's a good way if you look at someone's Facebook page or a company's Facebook page to get an idea of what they're all about. Another very important aspect of it, which a lot of people overlook, is your social media gives your off-page SEO more power. Your off-page SEO gives your social media more power. The two of them feed off each other, essentially boosting your keywords, boosting the power of your website to be able to rank with Google. Now, speaking of ranking with Google, a lot of companies, people have asked me, why don't I just advertise? I can just advertise over here. It's easy. I just pay Google and my adverts appear. But can I ask you, when last did you click on those ads? Just you, when you're Googling on the net, browsing on the net. Most people, me included, and I hadn't even thought about it until it had been pointed out to me, very few people actually click on these links. People don't trust them. People trust Google because people automatically assume that what Google gives them is what they're looking for. Google has a massive trust rating, and it's far more valuable, even if there are 3 or 4, like if I look at event management companies to buy. Here there's already a few. I know me personally, and a lot of people I know, I've asked a lot of people, most people will look down through this whole list, and if they don't see anything relevant here, then they'll look over here. You don't want that, because by the time someone's gone all the way down here, you've lost most of the potential traffic. The power is here. Forget that. Okay, moving on. So why is social media important? Social proof, and it gives us power. It helps boost your site. What am I going to do for you? Well, something that is essential. We need to do video. You need to have video. That's absolutely essential. If you don't have it, it's a no-brainer. You need it. It's too much hassle for people to read. It's nice, excites people. You need video. We can work on individual video creation as well. You need Google authorship. People don't really use Google+, but Google likes it. It's a very good way, again, of boosting your credibility because it's all about trust. It's all about showing Google that you are trustworthy. And then we need to set up the basic social media accounts, which you don't really seem to have. It's also funny, I personally think when I'm on your site, you allow me to share your site, but how do I actually get to your site? Which I thought was a bit bizarre. Anyway, now with the social media, I can offer you 3 separate packages, 3 separate plans, so that if you don't want to go about creating your own content, if you want to create your own content, fine. We simply set up the pages and then it's up to you. If you would like professionally set up social media, these are the options. I'm going to quickly run through those for you. This is the social communicator, which is your simple bare bones, where we set up your 3 social media profiles. So 30-day social media plan. You get 20 Facebooks posts, 60 tweets per month. You get some images. It looks professional, it looks good, but personally, I think for what you want, I think this is the place to start. Social engager, minimum of 5 social media profiles, a blog. I will be showing you how, if you go for this, I will show you how to use the blog yourselves so that you can post directly to your site. The blog will ideally be included in your website if you go for the WordPress option. Then we've got, you'll be getting Facebook and tweets, 90-day social media content plan, and you get 1 press release every quarter, so that's every 3 months. If you're not too sure about getting getting the social media done for you, I'd suggest going with this. Personally, I don't think this is worth it for you. I'd suggest going here. Then upgrading to here once you see what it's all about. Otherwise, if you want to commit and go full steam ahead, this is the way to go. This is really for corporates who are taking themselves seriously. So 9 social media profiles. We're going to be looking at least 45 Facebook tweets per month, which brings me again back to why I personally think this is the better place to start. I simply think it's better, simply because Google, like I said, Google wants trust. If you just get on the internet and you start blasting away, that looks suspicious. It doesn't look organic, it doesn't look natural. Google wants to see companies and organizations that are simply naturally putting their content on the web. They're not just trying to rank. If Google suspects you're trying to rank, they will slam you. And going from 0 to 45 in a month is, in my opinion, it's a little bit fast. After 3 months, sure, no problem. Then you can go crazy. Beautiful content done. Monthly newsletter can be done for you as well. There's a whole lot you can look through this at your leisure. Right, and over here I break it down, but I'm rather going to look at it over here. So I've given you a full breakdown. This is the final proposal with everything that you need to know pretty much in here. Alright, and I'm just going to run through it with you. Please excuse me, there's Word likes to underline nonsensy things that really doesn't need to. Okay. So first of all, like I said, we need to have we're going to do the keyword analysis. I would suggest our major keyword would be event management companies in Dubai and the other major cities in the UAE. So we're going to be getting a minimum of, that gets a minimum of 1,000 searches per month. Other things like Abu Dhabi events or exhibition stands and services. That doesn't get all that much, but it's quite targeted, it's quite specific, especially once we start putting the geo-targeted tags. And yeah, but I would like to have further consultation with you and do further research before we decide on what the major keywords are. Like I said, please see my keyword proposal, which is over here. Okay. Right, then like I said, I need to do a full competitor analysis, see what they're doing, see what they're ranking for, and then steal their traffic, which is ideally what we would like to do. Then we need to tidy up your on-page SEO. Hopefully we do it completely, my recommendation. If you don't want to redo it, we can take it from there. Then we have off-page SEO, which is essentially link building. It's the major component to SEO. It's the best way to show Google that you are relevant, you're important, and you are trustworthy. You're not just out to make a quick buck. Then over here I go into some of the things that I'll be doing to do with link building. I'm not going to run into that in the video. You can look through that if you are interested. But essentially what I'm going to be doing is building backlinks to your site, creating trust. Now, like I said before, when I was looking over here, and I spoke about quantity over quality in the past, link building is an art. It's a science. It's the beautiful balance between science and art. And sometimes it can be a bit hit and miss, but there are certain ways of doing it, just like, for instance, when you're painting. A painting is open to interpretation, but you get good art and you get bad art, and it's always going to be that way. So there are certain ways of going about link building that work. There are ways that don't. And my way works, quite frankly. There is a combination, there's a whole lot of things you do. There's no single thing that gets done. But for instance, one thing that is very important are your Web 2.0 properties. Very important to be bringing your social into your link building, as I said before. Right, then local SEO. Often I do the local SEO separately, as a separate campaign. However, because you're focusing on the UAE, most of the keywords that we identify, we're going to also then rank the keywords for the major areas in the UAE. So UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and so on. Also be looking at your Google Plus listing. Essentially, I was quite interested to see if a person searches event management companies in Dubai, there are no Google listings. But if we look at event management companies in Abu Dhabi, there are quite a few, and we want to get you right up top there. People also tend to quite like looking at this. They like seeing what's close to them, what's convenient, and again, it makes you look trusted. What's also very interesting, I know I'm jumping around slightly, but just while I'm talking about Google and Google Places, I spoke around with the social media, I spoke about the Google authorship, which is very, very important. If we just look at this page, let's actually go to the Dubai page. It's quite boring if I just look at this page and I've got nothing on the page. What draws the eye are images, faces. So for instance, if I look up, one of our group sites is Nashville SEO. Now, sorry, just please excuse this. Immediately we see a face, we see a video, and your eye gets drawn to that. Even if this wasn't first or second, even if there were 2 or 3 sites above them, you see these things here, especially a video. Chances are you're going to get drawn to it. Videos are much less work than reading. And with Google authorship, that's where we get the face next to the site. It draws the eye, draws the attention. Very good way of just standing out from the crowd. I mean, what a mundane crowd this is. It's so boring. At least here we've got local listings happening. Anyway, so local SEO, very important, particularly because you're targeting local events happening locally. Then, obviously, you want to know what's happening. So I will be giving regular feedback, reporting not only on where the keywords that I'm ranking, where they're ranked, but also looking at your traffic reports, seeing where your traffic is coming from, how long they're staying on your site, what part of your sites they're being drawn to. If you want, we can also look at doing a PPC campaign, having the adverts and so on. It's up to you. That I do separately. Year-on-year reports are also very useful. Why? Because, for instance, if I was to look at Google Expo, if I was to look at Expo 2020 searches, in November, obviously, when the Dubai won the bid, there was a massive surge of searches. I mean, they're still getting 82,000 searches a month, but there was a massive surge in November, and it can be useful to see over time when your searches peak. Are there certain times? I'm sure you'll know when you get an influx of clients, but it's often useful to see what things specifically are drawing the clients in. So how am I going to go about this? Like I said, there are 3 parts to it: on page, off page, and the social. Okay, on page, if you do choose to go the way WordPress setup, normally I charge about 5 for just a WordPress site, and between 8 and 10 then if we're going to be optimizing the site. But seeing you already have a site, I feel that 6 is a fairer price. And we're just going to be migrating most of the content, which, like I said, I will be editing the article editing. Also putting in critical plugins to help optimize the site. Very few sites are aware of security, despite the fact that cybercrime is huge. It's actually quite scary. You obviously aren't going to be having credit card information on your site, but just an illustration. It's not difficult for somebody to get into your site, put a bot onto your site. When somebody visits your site, malicious content can get downloaded to their computers, which tracks their movements, can potentially compromise their banking details and so on. So even though it might not have a backlash to you all the time, it's bad practice to not secure your site. I'll ensure that at least the very basics plus the essentials are covered. Then social media, most definitely need to have Google Plus, as I explained, and at least set up Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you just go for this option, I'll set it up. I'm not going to actually create content. It's more just to set up and ensure that everything is linked together nicely. YouTube account setup, like I said, this is absolutely vital in my opinion, vital in Google's opinion. I'll be doing the on-page SEO for the YouTube channel, also to get it to rank separately. So like over here, where we have the YouTube video is also ranking. It's not just your site that ranks, but the YouTube video, your Facebook site, Weebly site, and so on. If you choose to go for all of that, it comes to 8.4, which I really think is quite reasonable. But if you want to migrate this yourselves, by all means. I just hope personally that you choose to at least migrate to WordPress. It's quite difficult working with other platforms. Well, it depends what you're using. Right, then there's social media. Like I said, 3 separate plans if you would like to go for the social media plan. The social communicator is $4.5 a month. The social engager, $5.5 a month. Considering what you get between the two, this I would say is definitely the up. And this is the ideal world. Ideally, if we can go for this, I'd love to talk further. This I would highly recommend, but if nothing else, I would suggest starting on this. If you would like examples, the examples I have are the Social Hub. But just to see what I can offer you, this is the site for Lexus. Let's just go to the top here. See, beautifully, nicely put together. We do the posts for you, lots of images because people love images. Okay, keep talking, tell you about what's going on, what's up, what's happening. Good way to keep people in touch. I mean, so many people are on Facebook, and as you can see, people pay attention to what's happening. I mean, it's not a massive amount of people, but it's better than what you currently have. Actually, no, 22 people. 78 people, that's actually quite considerable. Then we've got Caribou Coffee. Again, I love this. I personally love the way that this is put together. Nicely designed, nice pictures. All just looks very attractive. If you think you could do a better job, I'm not saying you can't, I'm sure you can. I mean, just looking at the product launches you've done are fantastic. So I just want to give you a rough idea, and then, sorry, I was going through these. There we go. And chopsticks. Nummy, nummy, nummy food. If you think, what can we possibly do with your site? I mean, I just looked through your proposal portfolio that you sent me, and there's so much that can be done. So much we can play around with. I'm actually quite excited. I'd love to work with you guys. Okay. Going back to here. Alright, so those 3 were all the Social Hub, but you won't be going amiss if you start off with the Social Engager. So SEO services, what am I going to be doing for you? Link building, checking that there are no unnatural links or things that are going to penalize you. As is, it doesn't seem like anyone's really linked to your site, so fortunately that's not an issue. Can be a massive issue. Going to be doing the local SEO, going to be reporting back to you, definitely talking to you about what's happening, hearing from you what's happening with you. Very important to keep a constant communication between me and your company to ensure that I'm up to speed, to ensure that I know what's happening with you so that I can rank you best as possible. If you have any major product launches coming up, it's nice if I can rank you for those too. So if anyone's looking up to find out about, like for instance, the book fair that they had now in Abu Dhabi, there at the exhibition center. If anyone wants to look up about the book fair and you're hosting a couple of stands, wouldn't it be nice that they type in Abu Dhabi Book Fair and bam, there you are, top of the search engines. They're going to learn about the book fair through you. Next time they want to do a proposal or they need event management, there they are. They know about you. Right, then the SEO packages. Sorry, I hope I'm not going too fast. I thought it's best. I normally tier it so that you can choose what package suits you best. Obviously, I recommend level 10. Level 10 is the way to go, but let me break it down for you. Think about it as if you have a car. You're buying a new car. Are you going to buy a City Golf, or are you going to buy an Audi, let's say A6, A7, whatever? Both are going to get you from point A to point B, right? The City Golf, it's a reliable little car. It'll get you to where you need to go. However, it's not that comfortable. It doesn't look very good. It's not very fast. And the chances of it breaking down are considerably higher than if you're going to be driving an Audi. So don't get me wrong. The budget SEO package is still powerful. It does have power behind it. However, the major difference between your budget SEO package and your search engine domination package is here you're giving me the power and the resources to be able to blanket Google. Because what's more worth it to you? If I can get you, like over here, if I get you number 1, and then you've got your competitors just chilling down underneath you, or number 2 or whatever, but your competitors are on the page. Or if I can get you to appear number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Wow, that's them too. What is going to be worth it more to you? This or just this? Level 1, with time, even just with level 1, I could probably rank you for most of the keywords we want to go after. But we also do need to keep in mind that you are competing with companies that do marketing. Where was it here? Can't remember. Anyway, companies that do marketing. So, and I've looked at their backlinks. They have employed SEO, professional SEO. So they're not going to be that easy to beat. So I personally, for you, I would say minimum starting with the aggressive SEO packaging. There I also include some YouTube marketing. So any videos you throw at me, I'll also rank them. And if you want me to make videos, well, by all means, we can talk about that too. It's from the SEO Bully package that you start giving me the resources to be able to attempt to blanket Google, the front page of Google. And just to illustrate it further, the link building between package 1 and package 4 is 10 times as strong, but 10 times the level of the resources, but it only costs 4 times as much, less actually. So price-wise, this is definitely what I would recommend. Now, if we just take a quick breakdown of costing, let's say we want to just look at the keyword event management companies in Dubai. So these are some of the possible combinations, and if we add all of those combinations together, just for that particular term, we can estimate getting roughly 2,010 searches a month. And these are local searches. These aren't international, by the way. And the international searches are much higher, but I don't want to inflate my proposal. I'd rather keep it as minimalist as possible. Okay, so essentially what we have over here is a breakdown of how many visits to a site you have. So if you're on the front page of Google, and you're ranked number 1. So basically, event management, you're over here. We're not looking at the adverts. You're here. You, in general, are going to be getting 37% of the traffic. If you are in the second place, 17%, third place, 10, fourth place, 5. From fourth place, it just goes down. Now, if we can get you into level 1, point 1, point 2, point 3, and slot 4, then you're getting 69% of the traffic. So the amount of traffic that you're getting then, now you're starting to dominate. People are lazy. They don't want to go down all the way to the bottom of the page looking for your competitors. So that's 70% of the traffic on average. So let's conservatively say we managed to get to 0.5. We managed to rank number 4 for your particular keyword. And that's then going to give us 210. Now, normally, the way we just work it out on average, because there are always long-tail keywords that Google doesn't come up with. So there are going to be lots of other alternatives that I don't have listed. So we can roughly estimate that that particular keyword is going to be getting about 2,814 viewers a month, roughly. Now, probably more. Now, because you ranked 4th, that means we're going to be getting only 5% of the traffic will actually go to your site. Okay, so 5% of the traffic is 140 visitors. Then if we narrow that down and we say, let's say of those 140, only 30% are actually going to phone. Now, if your site's set up properly, if it's giving them the information they're looking for, likely it's going to be higher than that. But let's take it at a conservative 30%. Right, so they phone through. That's 42 new leads a month that are physically picking up the phone and contacting you, saying, hey, I want to, can you help me? I'm pretty sure you're able to convert your calls quite effectively, but let's again say that, I don't know, 20, 15, I generally go with 15. So let's say only 15% of those people actually decide to hire you. That's 6 clients a month. Now, unfortunately, I've got absolutely no idea what your client value is, what the value of a new client is, and judging by the portfolio of your clients, it's much more than 10,000 dirhams. Sorry, dirhams, not dollars. Just pretend it's dirhams. 10,000 dirhams a client. And when I say value, I'm not just talking about the profit from a single event. As you said, you often get repeat clients. So what's the value of a new client to you? Well, let's just say it is only 10,000 dirhams for that new client. That would translate to roughly bringing in an additional 63,000 dirhams a month just from having your website ranked properly. Now, if you compare that to just the cost of the highest level package, I mean, we can go higher than that. As a starting out, I think I don't really want to cap the ceiling. I think it's best to keep it at this for now. Is 63,000 worth 22 for you? I should think so. Right. Anyway, so that's basically it. I've put together a short little video just for the fun of it, that I thought could be quite nice to just include. So I'm going to end off with that. I really would love working with you. When I met you all, I must say you are a fantastic group of people, and I would far rather have one client that's good to work with than 4 or 5 that are absolute nightmares. So I really look forward to hearing from you, and here's my little video to take you out.